Jeff Todd here from MLB Trade Rumors. Today's Wednesday, February 19th. Let's get you caught up. There were many more developments again yesterday regarding this ongoing Astros cheating scandal fallout situation, and I just want to cut to the chase and try to make some points clear. It's a complicated area, it's a legal thing, but this is important to understand. There's a big difference for the MLB Players Association, that's the union. There's a big difference between them advocating for a given player when he's facing possible discipline and doing collective bargaining negotiations with the league to set rules. That's what seems to have been lost in this last round of discussion. We're seeing suggestions from some reporters, obviously some of it coming from the league. I feel like people should know better here, folks. We're seeing these indications that the union is to blame for the fact that players didn't receive punishment. And this has all come from this idea that immunity was granted through a negotiation with the Players Association. Slow down a second here. The whole problem is that the league never had authority to issue punishment to players. Rob Manfred, the commissioner, has said this explicitly. So, yes, the league granted the players immunity during a brief negotiation with the Players Association. That's what Tony Clark, the players' chief, has said. It was all already preordained when the league itself failed to issue clear rules at the outset, failed to ensure that those rules were communicated to players. Jeff Luhnow, the GM of the Astros, has been fired since, supposedly did not pass along the memo. Whatever happened, the players could not be punished, but that's not the union's fault. And that's an important thing to consider. I'm not necessarily a pro-union guy versus the league at all, but I wrote a piece on this yesterday. Go read it if you want to learn more. But it's unfair to cast the blame in that direction here. Now, otherwise, the reason I wrote that piece, and what we're maybe, hopefully, finally beginning to see from some of the leaders of the league, from the Astros, is some honesty, folks. That's all people want. If you make a mistake, own it. Don't acknowledge part of the mistake, change your reasoning, and then cast blame in other directions. Step up to the plate, own the mistake, and then maybe we can begin to move forward. And I think clearly that's what everybody wants at this point. All right, are you ready to move on? Because I'm ready to move on. Let's get into a few trade rumors. That's more fun. Wil Myers was part of the discussions between the Padres and the Red Sox regarding Mookie Betts. Now, obviously, Betts is now with the Dodgers, so those talks are dead. But Wil Myers reportedly still being discussed between the Boston organization and their counterparts in San Diego. In this case, the discussions are involving Myers, who would go along with some young talent, not entirely clear yet just who might be involved, but a few players, including young pitcher Cal Quantrill, some top prospects from that exciting San Diego farm. They would go with Myers, okay, and the Padres would eat maybe about half of the $60 million or so left on Myers' contract. So the Red Sox would essentially be buying some prospect talent and taking a crack at Myers rediscovering the form that he once showed earlier in his career, the reason that he got that big contract in the first place. I mean, let's not forget, Myers, still just 29 years of age, former Rookie of the Year, former All-Star. The guy has definitely hit at times. He can move around a bit defensively. He's not replacing Mookie Betts. Let's make that clear. But he could be a nice bounce-back candidate in Boston. Obviously, the Red Sox, though, primarily interested in possibly picking up some young talent. For the Padres, it's a bit of an even more interesting situation. They obviously don't want to give up the young guys, but they could clear some salary space. And according to the reporting underlying all this from Kevin Acee of the San Diego Union Tribune, the idea here is to somehow still end up with a new star. They want a high-profile, high-end player. The possibilities, according to Acee, Nick Senzel of the Reds, a young player who hasn't fully cracked into the league yet, but he's there, he's ready, he's a big talent. Francisco Lindor of the Indians, obviously one of the game's very best players, among the guys that the Padres are at least interested in. That's not to say that a deal is coming together or even necessarily in the works, but hey, those are some pretty exciting names to watch. One guy who's probably not going to be under consideration there now, Kris Bryant. You could actually look and see a fit. You put him, right-handed hitting outfielder, into the mix along the same lines as what they would have done with Mookie Betts had they acquired him. You could put him in the outfield in San Diego. Indications from Chicago camp, that's not happening. Bryant has been talking with the front office, and he's talking to the media about it. The front office is talking to the media about it. All the word coming from there. Everybody's happy. Everybody wants to make nice and win a lot of games in Chicago. That could obviously change as time goes on, but no indication whatsoever that the Cubs are going to trade Bryant before opening day. A couple of minor moves to cover here as well. Catcher Jonathan Lucroy has landed with the Red Sox. That might have been headline news a few years ago, but obviously he's no longer the star that he once was with the Brewers. Lucroy's still a capable, sturdy veteran type. He'll probably compete with Kevin Plawecki for that second catcher role behind Christian Vasquez. Odds are, unless the Red Sox decide to carry 3 catchers or there's an injury, Lucroy could end up in the minor leagues as depth, although you never know. He could catch on with another team depending on how things shake out. But a nice catching depth pickup there for Boston. Another veteran guy landing a minor league deal. Jared Hughes is going to the Red Sox. Veteran righty. He can give you a lot of innings from the pen. $1.5 million if he cracks the roster. He's got a mid-March opt-out opportunity, which is an indication that he's pretty likely to earn a job in camp. If not, he'll have a shot to get out early and go try it with another team. To keep up with all the latest, head to MLBTradeRumors.com and be sure to subscribe below.